The streets of New York were buzzing today. The sun was slowly rising in the sky, peeking out from behind the clouds. Kids were heading off to school, while on the other side, people, staring at the thorns of the bushes, hurried along toward their offices. It was just like any other normal day, September 11th, 2001. But who could have known that this date would stain the pages of history with the blood of innocent people? This is the story of that dark day when terrorism shook humanity to its core. On the global stage, among the list of the most powerful countries, even America, which considered itself the best, was helpless in the face of terrorism that day. It was 8:40 in the morning, and people in New York City couldn't believe their eyes when American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. The impact was so powerful that within minutes, smoke was everywhere. Chaos broke out all around as people tried to save their lives and get away. Rescue efforts began to get everyone out of the building, and by then, President Bush had already been informed about the incident. They were in Florida, but it wasn't clear yet whether this was an accident or a conspiracy. The news spread quickly across the US and the entire world. But before anyone could make sense of it, exactly 17 minutes later, at 9:03, United Airlines Flight 175 crashed into the South Tower. This horrifying scene unleashed screams and chaos everywhere. The global superpower was now in the grip of terror and fear. At this point, it was still hard to figure out what the terrorists' next target would be. Meanwhile, air traffic control was busy tracking planes, but they still hadn't figured out what the next move would be. When and where the flight would strike from the skies, as a disaster after New York, terrorists attacked the U.S. Defense Department headquarters, the Pentagon. At 9:03, American Airlines Flight 77 crashed right through the Pentagon walls. This attack wasn't just on a building, it was a direct hit on the symbol of American military power. The world's most powerful country was now under a shadow of fear. The panic was so intense that crowds gathered on Manhattan Bridge in New York while people tried to leave the area. Amid all this chaos, news came in at 10:03 about United Airlines Flight 93. Just a short distance from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., a plane crashed in a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, killing all 44 people on board. It's believed that this fourth plane was headed for either the White House or the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C., but thanks to the bravery of the passengers, the terrorist plan was stopped. Within an hour and a half, American cities were scenes of death and destruction. Skyscrapers were engulfed in thick smoke. In a city that never sleeps, time seemed to stand still. Thousands of innocent lives were lost in this tragedy, buried beneath clouds of smoke. As people were tearing through the wreckage, they were desperately searching for their loved ones. Everywhere, there were screams of pain. This attack wasn't just against one country, it was an assault on all of humanity. This act of terror shook the entire world to its core. In response, to avenge the innocent lives lost, the United States immediately declared war on terrorism. President George W. Bush called it the deadliest attack ever on American soil and vowed to punish the terrorists severely. After that, the U.S. launched an attack on Afghanistan, targeting Al-Qaeda bases responsible for the 9/11 attacks anyway, 23 years later. Even today, terrorism remains a big problem that we must tackle so that attacks like the one in 91 don't happen anywhere in the world again. Dear viewers, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.